Between 1991 and 1995, John Singleton made his first 3 movies, and all 3 are classics. Now, I've already done videos on the first 2, Boys in the Hood and Poetic Justice, and this year is the 30th anniversary of the 3rd film, so today we're checking out filming locations for higher learning. Let's go see what we can find. So almost the entire movie is filmed right here on the campus of UCLA, with the exception of just a couple of locations. So right now we're gonna walk around the campus and see how many shots we can match up. Now, a lot of the movie was filmed right here at Dixon Court. You've got Dixon Court North and Dixon Court South, and there's a lot of scenes throughout the entire movie that are filmed here at Dixon Court, including that opening scene with the American flag that then pans across the courtyard, and we see all of the students doing that chant as Malik walks through the crowd. Now, all of the interiors that you see, or at least most of the interiors, those were just sets built inside of a soundstage at Sony Studios. I was pretty sure that the stadium where Malik runs track wasn't at UCLA, it just didn't look like it. But we then had to figure out where it was. And so we started searching, and while going through those scenes, we noticed that for a split second on one of the signs, you can see Weingart Stadium. And so we looked that up, and that brought us right here to East LA College. This is where Malik has his track meets. The fraternity house where Kristen goes to the party isn't actually a frat house, and it's nowhere near UCLA. It's right over here across the street. But this house right here behind me is the one that you see when the frat boys are flipping over the car, which would have been parked right here where I'm currently standing. Meanwhile, on the other side of campus, there's a different party going on at Fudge's dorm, and Remy and the other roommate aren't too happy about it. The dorm where Fudge and Remy live before Remy moves out is this building right here, Hitch Suites, and it looks a little bit different. It's been remodeled to look more modern, but you can find some pictures of this building online where it still has the blue trim and the blue railings when it still looked similar to how it does in the movie. Right here's the hallway that we see Remy come running down when they're having the party and they won't turn off their music. We see him come down that hallway and around the corner, and he looks right over here in the parking lot and he sees campus security and he goes down there to ask them for help. Right here is where Remy is talking to the two security guards. I mean, these guys, they won't turn off their music.
These guys, man, I'm not trying to knock or nothing.
And of course, security ends up breaking up their party. And this is the shot you get when everyone's leaving the party. And in that shot, you can see a circle on the building. Now, for whatever reason, they changed that circle into a rectangle. It's really hard to see now because there's, of course, a tree blocking it. But right up there is that rectangle that used to be the circle. All right, so supposedly, Fudge's dorm room is A35. We're gonna see if we can find it. Let's go. We found it. Fudge's place. Kristen's walking here through Dixon Court South when she first meets Taryn, and we know that this is where they're walking because at the end of that scene, we see them stop in front of this building. This is where Fudge and Malik and the entire crew are hanging out, talking to Monet, who's played by the awesome Regina King. And actually, this section is used a lot throughout the entire movie. This is actually where the movie begins, where that American flag is hung up. Remy's studying one night when Fudge comes back to their dorm and cranks up the stereo just to taunt him. That's the final straw for Remy, and he decides to move out. We find ourselves back at the frat house after Kristen attends a party here and gets assaulted by Billy. Everyone's having a good time at the party when Fudge and his friends show up and take Billy out to the front yard.
You okay, Billy?
Right here is where Remy is sitting and reading a book when he first gets approached by Nazi Scott.
Hey, let's see your ID.
Now let us see your ID.
So after Kristen gets assaulted, this is where her and Taryn are sitting, and Kristen is frantically putting mayonnaise on that sandwich. Now, although the tree is no longer here, there are still a few things that you can match up. The main thing is the building that you see in the beginning of that shot. You can't see it here anymore because all of these trees are blocking it. But if we come on the other side of these trees, there's the building. And you can also match up some of the stairs and paths that you see behind them as well. So the tree would have been somewhere roughly right here. We're now back at East LA College, where there's a track meet that doesn't go too well, thanks to Malik. Right here is where the finish line was. You can tell by the 21. And after the track meet, Malik gets confronted by one of his teammates, who's played by Morris Chestnut. They were standing at the end of this hall, and you can tell by those apartments across the way, which look a lot bigger in the movie due to the lenses they're using. After the track meet doesn't go too well, Malik and Deja are walking right here on this bridge that's located right behind Royce Hall. Right here is where Kristen and Taryn are walking up the steps. And then when they get right here, this is where they run into Monet and her friend. Right here is where Malik and Deja are having a conversation in front of the Columbus statue, and that's when they have a run-in with Remy, and after Remy says some really awful things to Malik, he goes running off like the scared little that he really is. Right after Remy wrecks their dorm, we see his roommate David coming back to the dorm. He comes down this path and around the corner and into the building right over here. So campus security shows up and they try to arrest Malik because Remy pulled a gun on Malik, but whatever. After it happens, everybody is standing right out here in front of this building. This was Remy and Malik's dorm, and it looks a little bit different. They've remodeled it a little bit, but everyone is standing right here in front, and campus security is standing right here holding Remy's flag. And then Fudge and Malik and all of their friends are standing right over here in front of this building. You can just barely see the sign that says Northwest Campus Auditorium. Right here is the staircase where Wayne meets up with Malik, and they're walking down these stairs, and you can see this building behind them. And then when they get to right about here, they stop, and the camera is shooting in this direction, and you can see this behind Malik. It's been remodeled, so it looks a little bit different. But then when the camera shoots in this direction, you can see this building behind Wayne. And Wayne's trying to tell Malik that he's not like Remy and his friends. And Malik tells Wayne that they're cool. He has no problem with him. He just doesn't want to live in the dorm anymore. And again, we're back at that same spot where the American flag is hung up. And this is where Fudge and Malik are sitting when Professor Peppermint comes up and has a little talk with them.
Peppermint?
We see Fudge walking away from what's now Cafe 1919. He's eating an apple when he looks over here at these stairs and he sees one of the Nazis walking up. Fudge then goes and gets his friends and they head up to the rooftop eating area and the fight begins. And for the climax of the movie, we find ourselves back here at Dixon Court North. Right here is where Peacefest took place. There was a stage set up right there with Eve's Plum performing. Anyone remember them? All the people were hanging out here on the grass, having a good time, watching the band, and right in front of the stage, I don't know how I never noticed this before. I didn't notice this until just the other night when I was rewatching the movie, and actually my wife noticed it and pointed it out to me. Right in front of the stage, there's a guy watching the band wearing this hat. Nice little Prince reference in the movie. But so everyone is out here having a good time. Malik and Deja are walking through the courtyard, and right up there on top of that building, Haynes Hall, that's where Remy is sitting and waiting to take a shot at Malik. Right here is where the two guys are standing when they look over and they see the group of morons standing on the steps that are really just here to create a diversion so security doesn't catch Remy. So you can actually count those arches above the windows and you can figure out exactly where Remy was standing. He would have been right above the 8th arch from the left. So Malik is standing over there at the Columbus statue in complete shock when he looks over here and he sees Remy up there on the roof of Haynes Hall. And he just gets filled with rage and he takes off running across the courtyard and through these doors into Haynes Hall, and he heads up the stairs to find Remy. I did go into Haynes Hall and try and find those stairs. I was hoping that they might be in here, but no luck. But I still was convinced that those were not built on a soundstage, so I kept looking for them, and I did find where those stairs are. They're in the building right next door to Haynes, Royce Hall. So after Remy runs away, we see him running down the hallway frantically trying to open locked doors, and I'm almost positive this is the hallway that he's running down. Almost everything here matches up. The only thing that's different is it doesn't have the double doors at either end. So I'm guessing that they either remodeled this, or I think they might have added those double doors just for the movie so that Remy would be locked in. So after that long battle with Remy and with security, Malik comes stumbling out of this door, and he's just standing here at the top of the steps when he looks over here and he sees Professor Curtis, and by the look on his face, he can tell it's bad news. And Malik comes right down here and he just has a complete and total breakdown. So Malik and Kristen are both standing here in front of the statue, remembering what took place during Peacefest. And if you remember, they first see each other at the beginning of the movie, but it isn't until now that they learn each other's names and start to show a little bit of compassion for one another. And after a short conversation, Malik says goodbye to Kristen and he walks off down this path, and we then get a shot of him running past Haynes Hall. And for the final shot of the movie, we're right back where we began, looking at the American flag that was hung up right here. So there you have it, the filming locations for Higher Learning during its 30th anniversary. And I've now done videos on John Singleton's first 3 films. And out of the 3, Boys in the Hood is probably my favorite, but it's kind of hard to say because in my opinion, the next 2 are like right there with it. So I really enjoyed checking out these filming locations. Hopefully you enjoyed checking them out with me. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.